Well, good afternoon from the PE Center at Carroll College, and welcome to the Carroll College pregame show powered by Helena Motors. I'm John Kemper, sitting in for Daniel Sally today and coming to you from the Brad Schmidt Allstate Insurance broadcast booth. Joining us in just a moment will be my broadcast partner, Coach Gary Turcotte. With 4 games remaining in conference play, the Saints find themselves 1 game back of the top spot in the Frontier and sitting in 3rd place behind conference leader Rocky Mountain College and the University of Providence. As luck would have it, Carroll finishes their season facing both Rocky and Providence on the road in the next couple weeks. And we're glad to welcome in now Coach Gary Turcotte. Coach, while the Saints are in 3rd, they seem to have a level of control in how their season can finish facing the 2 top teams, or the 2 teams that are above them in the Frontier.
Well, they got to win out if they want to win it, and then they would need a little luck somewhere along the line, because Rocky did beat them twice, and even if they beat Rocky once, but if you know Rochelle Sayers, she wants to win, and if she wins it, it'd be a three-peat. I mean, my goodness, that's pretty impressive in this league. But if you don't take first, you really want to take second, because you get a home, you get a bye the first round in the playoffs, and you get a guaranteed 1 home game. So there's a huge difference between second and third. So that's why all these games, like the game like today, is so important to Carroll.
Well, they start that 4-game sprint today as they host UM Western. In their previous 2 meetings, Carroll has beat the Bulldogs. They go for the regular season sweep. Where has Carroll been successful facing this Western team this season?
Well, Western is always a real challenge. Carroll plays pretty good defense. When Fitzgerald, she's kind of their do-everything player, kind of a power forward player. When she gets going, the games are really competitive. When Carroll's been able to hold her down, then Carroll's been able to have the edge. Carroll will need to handle the changing defenses. Lindsey, one of their coaches, a master at a matchup zone, and he'll throw in some man-to-man. He'll mess with you. He really does a nice job defensively.
Well, in Western, they fell out of the top 25 a week or 2 ago. They're 14-9 overall. They've struggled in conference play, going 4-7. However, they're not a team to overlook. Just last Saturday, they took care of Rocky, kind of helped Carroll out a little bit. But then last Thursday, they lose to seems to be a stronger Montana Tech here in the second half.
Yeah, that surprised me. I talked to Lindsey before the game a little bit, and he said his two best shooters went 2 for 22. He said they were open. They were not contested shots. So that can happen. You can have a flat game. And they obviously had a letdown after that monster win over Rocky. And I don't know if you've got to see Rocky play this year, but they're really good. And to beat them, that's something.
Well, in the 2 games against each other this season, the Saints have dominated in the paint. They scored 24 in the first game, 18 in the second. Of course, Jamie Pickens, a double-double in that first meeting down in Dillon. And then Sienna Swanek, 4 for 7 from 3 on the last meeting, 24 points in that. For the starters for Carroll, how do they match up against this Western team?
Well, Carroll is deeper than which you'll see than Western. Carroll does have more size at the post position. Western only has Mesa King, and if she goes out or gets in foul trouble, they really drop down in size. I would say the guard positions are pretty even. Western's guards are good, and they're quick. They run offense called dribble drive, which all the games that you worked at Helena High, you'll have seen a lot of dribble drive, and Western does it well. I think Lindsey coaches it as well as anybody. He learned it from Steve Keller when Steve was the men's coach at Western, and he taught him the dribble drive, and he runs it well.
Well, and you talk about depth today. This Western team only has 8 players suited, and talking to one of the assistant coaches, 7 can go on that. So we'll see how that goes. Carroll, of course, a lot deeper on the bench today. We're just getting started here. It's Carroll College basketball. It's a doubleheader today, and we will continue with the Carroll College pregame show powered by Helena Motors after the break. You are listening to Saints basketball on Rewind 94.9 FM and online at kcap.com. Well, Coach, it's always fun when you give the wrong sponsor for the pregame show. I said Helena Motors. I meant Placer Motors.
Yep.
So my apologies to Placer Motors. We'll make up for it. But John Kemper back here at Carroll College. Doubleheader today. Ladies first, then the men after this one. Of course, the great Coach Gary Turcotte, who you don't even have time to talk to me. You're saying hi to so many people, but that's what happens when you're a legend around here.
Well, we're down right on the floor, too, John. We really are. And so everybody that's going to walk to their seat, they kind of walk by us and they want to say hi. And you know, Carroll is it's so social, and we bring families and we bring alums and we bring people that just like basketball, and nobody in the Frontier gets the support that we do. It's and we don't take it for granted. We appreciate it.
Well, and it's a big day here at Carroll also because it's alumni weekend. So
Yep.
we're actually going to interview some alumni here at the halftime of this women's game, and then also in the men's halftime.
Exactly.
So we're excited for that. We'll give you those names as we move along. But looking at some team stats here for Carroll College, they're 20-5 overall, 8-3 in the Frontier Conference. Coached by, of course, Rochelle Sayers. 200 wins. She reached that earlier this season and also became the all-time wins leader for Carroll women's basketball. Offensively, this team's averaging 65.3 points per game, giving up 52.4.
Yeah, they're a very good defensive team. Carroll is primarily man-to-man, John, but they play a 1-1-3 zone, and it's an aggressive zone. They get a lot of steals and deflections, turnovers out of it. Western will have a good plan for it. Lindsay will be ready for it. But the basic defense for Carroll is their man. And then their offense, they run a lot of different things, but Carroll's offense is primarily the Princeton offense. Backdoor, elbow catches, pinch post stuff. So they're fun to watch.
Rebounding could be a strength here for Carroll today. We were talking in the first segment about King kind of being the only post player down low. Carroll right now in the season averaging 32.2 rebounds. They
do rebound. They offensive rebound well. It's a big point of emphasis by the Carroll College coaching staff. They do have a little size advantage. But Western, I think when they play man-to-man, they have a better chance of boxing out and eliminating that advantage that Carroll has. But they also play a lot of zone, and when they play zone, they are vulnerable to offensive rebounds.
As far as shooting percentages from the field, 44.3, from behind the three-point line, 32.4, and then at the free throw line, 68.8.
I'm surprised that Carroll hasn't shot free throws better.
That's what I thought when I was researching that yesterday.
Yeah, they have in past years with these same girls have shot their free throws better in past years than they're shooting right now. So that's an area of concern. You've got to shoot a little better than that.
And like any sport, we got to give the fist bumps to the head of the officials
we appreciate
here.
them.
Yep, we do. They do a great job for us. Always love it when they do that. In any sport, especially basketball, turnovers can be life or death. Carroll giving up 11, but they're getting 13 and a half.
Yeah. At this time of year, you'd like to keep your turnovers down under, I think, 7, 8, and maybe less if you can. Early in the year, you're going to turn it over more than that. But now, those turnovers can be very costly.
All right, well, we're just about ready to get going here, so we're going to step aside for the national anthem. When we come back, we will have the starting lineups in the tip from Carroll College. This is Saints Game Day, powered by Placer Motors on Rewind 94.9 and on KCAP.com. Okay, we're back. All right, back here. I jumped in a little too soon, Coach, on that. We had to get some CNC Music Factory, I guess, in before we jumped into it. So one quick update. Because of some lack of officials in Missoula, the Capitol High girls game against Hellgate will start, but will be played today, but it will be pushed until 6:45 tonight. You can listen to that on the FM KCAP and on kcap.com. So we just fist bump with officials, and that's something we've dealt with in Montana, especially in high school sports, lack of officials.
Yeah, it's a hard job, and it's especially, I don't know what they pay in high school, but you got to do it for more than just the money. You got to love the game and really want to be fit and alert, and it's not an easy job, and I know it's getting to be a factor. Football has gotten to be a big factor.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something I couldn't do. I couldn't take the criticism So on that. All right, well, let's get to the starters here tonight, Coach. We'll go with Western here first. They go with Brinlyn Fitzgerald, the forward at 5'11". She's a junior. Shani Mack, she's a guard at 5'8", a sophomore. Follow that with Lily Gopher, 5'10", sophomore, a forward. Then the guard from Capitol High School, the 5'7", sophomore, Sydney Sheridan. And they finish out with the forward at 6'1", redshirt junior, Mesa King.
Yeah, that's a nice lineup, nice size. When Mesa is out of the ballgame, they are a little bit small. That will be the issue, and that Carroll will definitely want to go inside when she has to step out of the ballgame to get a rest or for whatever.
All right, the starters for the Carroll College Saints today, the same lineup they go with pretty much game in and game out. They'll start with number 4, the guard at 5'9", a redshirt senior, Danielle Wagner. Follow that with number 10, the guard forward at 5'10", graduate student is Christine Denny. Camden Hilborn, the senior at 5'8", is a guard. She'll be starting today. Follow that with the guard at 5'9", senior Sienna Swanek. And, of course, from Helena High, the junior at 6'2", forward Jamie Pickens.
Yeah, like you said, that's been the starting lineup for Carroll for really almost the entire season. They might have had 1 or 2 differences, but they play Christine Denny at the 4. She's a little bit undersized, but she creates such a matchup for the defense with all the things that she can do.
All right, well, we're going to tip this off. It will go to Carroll as Pickens gets it over, and then now to Hilborn. Carroll wearing their home white jerseys, moving from right to left. Up top to Pickens. She takes a long 2 and hits it right to start this game. All right, Sheridan now for Western will bring it up, wearing red and moving from left to right. Black numbers outlined in white. Sheridan now with it on that right elbow. Dribbles up near the top, kicks it over to the left side. And this one will be kicked by Hilborn out of bounds, and Western will take it out on the sideline.
Carroll coming out in their zone, and which they don't usually do, and Western coming out in man, which they don't usually do.
So Sheridan takes it, comes in, now back out. Up top to Sheridan, they swing it over. Almost a 3 there by Fitzgerald. She pulls it back down. Now over in the left corner, 4-3. That one is no good. Fight for the ball. Pickens will come away with it, and here comes Carroll. 9:07, first quarter, 2-0 on the field goal by Pickens on that first possession. Pickens drives, kicks it out. Ooh. Denny with a chance at a 3 there. Instead, she decides to pass it. Ball gets loose for a second. Pickens gets it. Now she has it taken away. Sheridan swipes it. She gets the pass back, and she will take it up and have it deflected on a great play there by Denny. And they'll come away with nothing.
Kristen Denny blocked that from behind. I don't know how she did that without fouling, but she did.
Sheridan stole that ball from Pickens and then took it down the floor and just could not get it in on that great play by Denny. Denny will take the inbound pass straight up top, comes to her right side, and now kicks this one out. That one's to Swanek. Back up top to Denny. Denny drives in, nothing. Back to Swanek. Swanek's going to take a three. That one is good. So Carroll at 8:33 in the first quarter leads 5-0 over Western. And now this pass by Fitzgerald is tipped away by Hilborn and taken by Denny. Denny's going to take it to the house, and it's in for two. 7-0 Carroll at 8 minutes in the first quarter. So a great start here for the Saints. Pass nearly goes out of bounds. It's saved by Mack. Gopher with it for the moment. Now to Sheridan. They work it around, get it to Gopher on the baseline. They go down low. That one's to King, and we'll have a foul on the play.
Carroll likes to trap the ball in the corner in that zone, John, and then they got to get weak side rotation to stop that rotator coming down, and that time Danny picked up a foul coming from the weak side.
Yeah, so Wagner with the first foul of the day, and this shot is no good by Fitzgerald, and it's almost saved out of bounds by Western, but it goes into the hands of a Carroll player. Gets it out to Hilborn. Hilborn has it swiped by Sheridan, and now this one will go out of bounds.
Sheridan is so active. You probably did a lot of her games in high school. You know what kind of athlete she is.
Yeah, she's very sneaky.
Oh, and she creates chaos.
Up. Yeah.
She and Camden Hilborn are a lot alike. They do play the same type of game.
All right, Carroll with the ball, they're moving it around. They get it to Pickens, high post, left side, and she'll step up, takes a two. That one rattles in and out, rebounded by Gopher, and she'll clear it to Fitzgerald, and here comes Western. 7-10, first quarter, 7-0. Gopher drives in, goes left side, little fake, and puts it up for two. First points of the day for Western on a nice play by Gopher, and here comes Carroll to try to answer. Hilborn brings it up. Looks to hand it off. Now she'll give it a little pass to Wagner, and we're going to have a push foul. That will go against Western, and that's on Shani Mack. So her first, one-team foul apiece. 6:51, first quarter, 7-2. Carroll with the lead. Wagner gets it into Pickens, who swings it over to Denny on that left elbow. Up top to Swanek, who had that three. Thought about it again, now back to Denny. Denny's going to take a three. That one rattles in and out, but Pickens with the rebound, and they won't give her the shot, but she is fouled.
Oh.
Kind of a close call there, right?
Yep.
King picks up that foul, and that's something we talked about in the pregame, Coach, is
that's
someone
exactly.
you cannot have get in foul trouble early.
Yep. Good call.
Up top to Wagner. Wagner, a couple dribbles. Sheridan right in her face. She'll get it to Swanek on that right side. Working behind the perimeter here. Back to Wagner on the left elbow. And cross court to Hilborn. Hilborn's going to drive the baseline. Splits two defenders. Goes up, shot doesn't fall, but Swanek will come away with the ball. Back to Hilborn. Hilborn comes in, dishes it down to Pickens, and Pickens puts it in. Boy, that's a combo you've seen a lot of.
You've seen a lot of that in your career, haven't you?
9-2.
They started playing with each other in the 6th grade.
Yeah. My daughter is the same age as Hilborn. Graduated with her at Helena High, so I saw Hilborn for years.
Yeah.
But 9-2, Carroll at 5:59 here in the first quarter. So a really good start. This ball goes out of bounds. It's going to be Western ball. They'll take it out on the baseline. Sheridan looking, goes up top to Gopher. Gopher thinks about a three, then takes it finally, and we're going to have a foul on an easy call on over the back on Mesa King.
And that is not what they had in mind.
I mean, she was over the back and putting her hand on the back of the person she was over.
That was a silly foul by Mesa, and she knows better. She'll have to be careful now.
So she subs out with those two fouls.
Yep.
And here comes Carroll at 5:53 in this first quarter, leading 9-2. Hilborn brings it up, kicks it off to Denny, and down to Hilborn, who snuck past the defense, shot no good. Pickens with it, working against Gopher, and she'll be fouled. The shot is no good, so she'll go to the line to shoot two.
So, John, what Western is doing in their man-to-man, they're playing like a box and one on Danny Wagner. They're face guarding her, will not let her get a catch. Shani Mack is face guarding her. And then the other four are kind of playing a sagging man-to-man, and they're just saying, Danny, you're not going to beat us. Somebody else is going to have to. The problem when you have one player face guarding like that is she can't help. She can't see the ball. She can't react to it. And they're going to be sometimes Carroll's just going to be wide open and weak side rebounds and such because because of the way they're playing. But it's a smart thing to do to take Danny Wagner out of the game because Danny can get you. Ooh, yeah.
And Sheridan, mental mistake there with a double dribble. On the free throws, it was Pickens hitting both of them. The first one a little suspect, second one was perfect. So it's 11-2 at 5:36 here in the first quarter. Hilborn with the inbound pass, working against Sheridan. Brings it across midcourt. Now Pickens picks it up on that right elbow. Still dribbling. Dribbles into the paint, kicks it out to Hilborn, and Hilborn's going to be called for a travel. So back-to-back turnovers on a double dribble and a travel by these two teams. And it'll be Western's ball at 5:24. Sheridan inbound, met by Hilborn. She gets it to Gopher across midcourt. Gopher one-hander down to Fitzgerald. Ball gets loose, but Fitzgerald comes away with it. Now her pass, and we're going to have probably a jump ball down here, and we will as a couple players go to the floor. Swanek was the one on the ground for Carroll. Clock stops at 5:11. So Western with the possession arrow. They'll keep it, take it out on the baseline. 11-2 here in the first quarter. Carroll with the lead. And cutting into the paint is Denning, and she will lose it, and then it goes out of bounds. Turnover.
Now, Western's already turned the ball over more than I have seen them in past years. I think some of it's due to the Carroll defense, but they're better passers than that, and they're struggling right now.
They seem out of sorts.
They do seem out of sorts. They do.
Denny with it, and cutting towards the basket was Wagner, and she'll lay it in for two. And it's just been all Carroll here in the first quarter.
And that time, Danny Wagner back cut against that manic kind of denial pressure, and it got a layup.
So 13-2 Carroll at 4:30, first quarter. Fitzgerald with it. And now they try to go down to Gopher, and this one goes out of bounds again, and another turnover.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a media timeout here. Carroll College basketball is brought to you in part by John Lagerquist, Century 21 Heritage Realty. For all your real estate needs, from homes, land, or commercial, contact John Lagerquist, one of Helena's leading realtors, and by Overland Express Restaurant. Serving Helena since 1975, Overland is Helena's restaurant that features their famous Dragon Wings. Try them, you'll like them at Overland Express. And on the Mike Miller State Farm Insurance scoreboard, 4:30 to go here in the first quarter, 13-2. Carroll all over Western early. Pickens has 6. It's 3 for Swanek and 2 apiece for Wagner and Denny.
Yeah. Carroll looking to be hitting on all 8 cylinders to start the ball game. They really are. And, I don't know if it's Carroll's defense or Western's offense. Carroll is playing some zone, some man, but right now for that first 5 minutes, Western didn't look comfortable against either one. And they had a lot of turnovers. They really did.
The turnovers, and then Mesa King, don't want to harp on it too much, but those 2 fouls, the second one, that over the back that you mentioned was just a big mistake, or just a silly mistake.
Yeah. And
she finds herself on the bench. Would you probably say for the rest of the first quarter, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And maybe for most of the half, you just got to have her at crunch time. And they're just a small team out there without her. And when you look, there's nobody over 6 foot out there on that wearing a red uniform.
Yeah. You got Pickens out there at 6'2", and she seems to tower over everybody.
Yeah.
All right, we come out of the timeout, 13-2. Carroll with the lead at 4:20. Emma Matson with it. She's going to kick this one over to Lyman. Now to Swanek. Swanek, right side, looks to drive. Now she'll back out.
Good defense by Brindley Fitzgerald that time.
Now Swanek will drive, and Fitzgerald is going to be called for a foul. Really good defense on her. Got some contact on her body, but got a hand on the ball.
I got to be honest, that was good defense.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Brindley
You're the coach here.
Yeah, Brindley Fitzgerald played good defense on that. Very good.
That's Fitzgerald's first, and it sends Swanek to the line, who has a 3, and now her first free throw is good. Just coming down the stretch here for Carroll. 3 games in the conference after today. Second one is good. So Swanek now with 5, and it is 15-2. Western with the ball. Gopher takes it at midcourt. She'll bring it across, and now she goes to her left and up top to Sheridan. Sheridan working it around the perimeter. Now she'll go to her left and goes down low, and now out, and a three coming, and that one is no good. Rebound by Gopher. Mack took that shot, couldn't get it to fall, but Gopher with some good, a good rebound. And now she'll get it to Denning. Denning circles, gets it to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald will ring one in for the first three of the game.
And once she gets going, she is a streak player. You'll enjoy watching her. She can really she can fill it up.
Cuts the lead to 10, 15-5 at 3:18. Pickens with it and cutting into the lane and putting it up for two is Wagner. And she just flashed in front of that defense and had no issue getting that shot in. It's 17-5.
That's that Princeton offense where you get the ball to your pinch post at the elbow, and then everybody's cutting and reading off of that. And it can be fun to watch. You don't see a lot of teams running it anymore.
Mack with it, gets this to Denning. Denning right side. She'll hand that off to Fitzgerald, who's now trapped, and wisely just tosses it off of Wagner's leg, and it'll stay Western ball. See, I can't. That's why I couldn't play basketball. Is that very thing right there, being trapped in a corner? I couldn't do it.
You're claustrophobic?
I guess so. I just don't like confrontation, I think. Sheridan drives, nothing there, and she'll kick this to Denning. Denning takes a shot. It's deflected to Pickens. Pickens gets it down to Wagner. Wagner saves it from going out of bounds, goes up for a shot, no good. It'll be rebounded by Western, and here comes Sheridan, moving quick in transition. And she'll lay it up left side, no good. Pickens with the rebound.
Well, you just see the speed of Wagner there, as well as Sheridan. Those girls, they are quick.
And the as there's a foul on the floor.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, the athleticism.
Yeah, turnover.
Yeah.
Yeah, the athleticism, and then being on the same page. Like, Pickens gets the ball, and they already know what they're going to do with it. The benefits of playing a lot of games together. 2:17, first quarter, 17-5. Western with the ball. It wasn't a foul. The ball was knocked out of bounds by Carroll, so goes back to Western. Denning working left side, and she's going to have this one stripped. She's able to save it, gets it to Sheridan. Quickly over to Mack, and now Mack will have it stripped. That one's taken by Swanick. Swanick's going to take it coast to coast, lays it up and off the rim. No good, but rebounded and put back by Garrett.
And Maddie has been a really good player coming off the bench for us, John. She's a post sub for Jamie Pickens and has really contributed a lot to this team.
Sheridan pops a three, and that one is good. Her first shot of the day. 19-8, 134. Yeah, it's nice to have another big body to take that rest that Pickens needs. And Garrett's with two on that last trip down. All right, Wagner with it, right elbow. Dribbling kind of in and out, now gets this to Lyman. Lyman on the left elbow. Garrett's flashes, but nothing there. And now a three out from the corner, no good. Fight for the ball, and it will be picked up. And now we're going to have a foul. That's going to be on Swanick as she reaches in and hits Mombers. Make sure I have her name right, sorry. Mombert, excuse me. So 1:10 to go, first quarter, 19-8. Saints with the lead.
Izzy Ekstrom now in the ball game, a freshman, and she could be freshman of the year, John. She's really had a nice year from Bozeman High School.
I was going to say, that name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, she got hurt her senior year.
That's right.
So didn't play much. And that's that dribble drive that you see right there, and how they clear out a side. And it was a good take there. She just missed it.
Just missed it, and Carroll gets the rebound. Lyman brings it up court. Now she has it stripped out as she tries to pass it by Denning. And Denning saves it, and she'll bring it, get the pass up to Sheridan. Sheridan brings it up now to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald right side working, and she is going to draw a foul. And that's on Madsen. So the clock stops at 33.2. Fitzgerald will be at the line to shoot two. She has three in this game on a three-pointer a couple minutes ago. But it's 19-8.
And they're not.
I'm sorry, they're going to take it out of bounds.
Bonus yet,
sorry.
yeah. And on the fifth shot, you get the bonus. And women's college basketball, which takes some getting used to.
Okay.
Yeah, it really does.
So Fitzgerald with the inbound, and now they work it around. Sheridan, she drives left side, little floater, and that one is good. Sheridan with 5 and cuts the lead to 9 with 18 seconds to go. Saints with the lead. Hilborn with it. Sheridan in front of her. Comes to her right side. Now back to her left. And just going to get this one off to Denny. Denny down to Garrett, and we're going to have a reach-in foul on Western. So 3.2 seconds to go, and at the line to shoot is Garrett's. She has 2. Chance for a couple free throws here to make it a 10 or 11-point game for Carroll. That one is good. And the second one up, that's nothing but net. She gets both. 21-10. Inbound quickly to Sheridan. Sheridan will run out of time. And at the end of one, pretty much all Carroll here in the first quarter. 21-10. We'll step aside. You're listening to Carroll College Basketball on Rewind 94.9 and on KCAP.com.
Carroll turned it over.
Well, Coach, how great is it to see former players come back, whether you coached them or not? I imagine even more special when you have coached them.
It means everything. It does. And this is Alumni Weekend, as you talked about earlier, and it just means everything to see them come back. And, you know, the lives that they're leading, we're just so proud of them. They learned to lead here at Carroll. Every one of those girls that was out there is in some form of leadership right now.
Yeah, I saw Jolene Lloyd down there, and, of course, she's one of the coaches at Helena High, so see her pretty consistently. Denny's going to cut into the paint, and she'll lay that one in for 2.
Nice pass by Danny Wagner. Get her that.
Carroll jumps up 23-10 at 9:35 second quarter. Sheridan with it, right elbow. She'll come up to the top, kicks this over to Fitzgerald in that left side. Now back up top to Sheridan. Sheridan with 5 in that first quarter, 3 for Fitzgerald. And now Fitzgerald will lose this one out of bounds. So just still some miscues here that Western's working out.
Now, Carroll that time in their zone, and Western wants to skip it. They want to get penetration and skip it across against that zone. And when they're able to do that, they've been able to get some good shots.
Garretts takes it on the pass from Hilborn, working behind the three-point line, and now to Denny. Denny gets this one to Ekstrom, and now a 3 coming, and that is good from Wagner. So Carroll all of a sudden up 16, 26-10, 8:50 second quarter. Denning with it, kicks this to Sheridan on that left elbow. Cross court, gets that to Mack, back to Sheridan. Sheridan's going to spot up, takes a 3, that one off the front of the rim, but the ball will go back to Western. Now Fitzgerald, she'll take a 3, and that one's good.
And I have seen Fitzgerald go crazy in this gym. I mean, if anybody's going to keep him in the ball game, it's Fitzgerald. I mean, I've seen her get 30 points in this gym. I mean, she's that kind of good.
Well, she cuts it to a 13-point deficit, 26-13. Garrett's with it. She'll go up top to Hilborn. Hilborn starts her dribble just once, gets it now to Denny. And Denny's going to spot up a long 2, and that's nothing but net. That shot by Denny there's not a lot of arc on it. It's pretty flat, but it skims right over the rim and in.
Yeah, and of course she knows that she needs to get more arc on it, and she works on it.
So 28-13, 7:54, a 3 coming from the corner. That one no good, and it will be rebounded by Carroll, and here comes Hilborn and the Saints. And a 3, that's coming from Ekstrom, just misses, and it will be rebounded by Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald clears it out, and she'll bring it up court. Dishes it down low. Nice pass, and that one will be put in by Momberg for 2, and it's 28-15.
Momberg is very skilled. She started out at the University of Montana, a scholarship player, and she is a very skilled girl.
7:15 here in this second quarter, and it's 28-15. Carroll with the lead, and now this pass is going to be intercepted by Western, and they get it to Sheridan. Sheridan working against Hilborn, and Hilborn gets in the way, and there'll be a foul, and it'll send Sheridan to the line to shoot 2.
That time Western jumped into a zone, and Carroll didn't recognize it, ran their man-to-man offense, and it wasn't going to work. And you could hear Coach Rochelle yelling at him, but it's at the other end. The first half they're always at the other end, so
yes,
they couldn't hear her, and they turned it over.
So Sheridan at the line, first time tonight. She has 5 points. Field goal and a 3, and the first one up is good. So 28-16, 7:06 second quarter. We'll see how we do in the men's game by saying first half, second half. That's
yeah.
And the next one for Sheridan is good. So she gets both. Cuts it to an 11-point game, 28-17, and she'll sub out, give her a break. She's been running all over the place. Hilborn's checked back in. Lyman also has checked back in for the Saints, and she'll bring it up court. Kicks it to Denny on her left side. Denny comes to the right, now to Pickens. Post on that high right side. In the corner now to Lyman. And she'll get this to Swanek. Swanek comes to her right, now to Pickens again. And Pickens is going to come into the paint, and she's going to get called for a travel. I thought I saw that, and if I saw it, chances are it happened.
Yeah, Jamie should take that shot. She's such a good shooter from the elbow. I mean, she's just lights out on it. And that time she just hesitated a little.
6:42 second quarter, 28-17. Carroll with the lead. And now trapped in that corner, and this one is, they're going to give it to Western, but Coach Sayers thought for sure it went off of a Western player. So Western will inbound in front of the Carroll bench. Pass gets deflected a little bit, but they still get it into Denning. And now out and a 3 coming. That one is nowhere near the basket. And it is grabbed by Swanek on the bounce. And now quickly to Pickens, who is rushing down in transition, and she'll lay it in for 2.
Boy, you love to see your bigs run the floor like that. Just beautiful. Did she do that in high school?
She did, yeah. You know, the thing with her was the long, football passes she'd do to girls that would get free. Now, Gopher will take a little mid-range jumper, and that one is good. It's an 11-point game still, 30-19, as Carroll moving quickly in transition. Swanek with it, now up top to Denny, swings it to Lyman on that right elbow. Down into Pickens, now out to Lyman. Lyman takes a 3, that one a little too hard. It'll be rebounded by Western. That one is by Momberg, and she'll get it to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald now, right elbow. Denny right in front of her, now switches to Swanek. Pass in the post, that's to Gopher. Gopher working against Ekstrom, and she'll put it up, and she's going to draw a foul.
Gopher very clever inside there. Pivoted about 4 times until she finally got an angle and drew the foul.
And that one goes on Ekstrom, her first. So Wagner's going to sub in. And it sends Gopher to the line to shoot 2. 30-19, 5:29 here in the second quarter. And Gopher's first one rims in and out. And a little spin, couple dribbles here, and Gopher will put this one up, and it rims out as well, and Pickens will grab the rebound. Gets it to Lyman, and here comes the Saints at 5:25. Second quarter, they lead 30-19. Lyman cutting towards the basket. Now she dishes it down to Pickens. Her shot's no good, but she'll go to the line to shoot 2.
And Jamie hesitated with a pump fake there. She didn't need to. But a really nice find by Jaden Lyman with that baseline pass.
That foul is on Denning, so she'll pick up her second and sub out.
And Mesa King just checked back in, John, so she's got to play now without fouling here the rest of this half.
Yeah, she was sat out, well, at least half of the first half. And that first one is good by Pickens. And the second one for Pickens. This is in the air, and it is good.
I know she missed a few of those the other night. I think she worked quite a bit on them yesterday. Her
Boy,
free throws.
yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely see that at Helena when she'd miss free throws. She'd be in the gym hitting a bunch after that. All right, 32-19, 5:07. Carroll with the lead here in the second quarter, and this ball gets tipped, and it will stay Western ball. I think Fitzgerald thought it was going the other way.
Yeah.
Which just gave her guilt away that she touched it probably before it went out of bounds. But Fitzgerald looking to get it in, and she does to Gopher. Back to Fitzgerald. Bounces this one down to King. She's in that post. Now she'll back out. Gets it to Momberg for a three. Woo, that's a great shot.
I mean, and no room at all. Right at the end of the shot clock. I mean, she's got some skills. She really does.
Yeah,
she's a scoring machine.
10-point game, 32-22, 4:38. Second quarter. Carroll working it around the perimeter. Lyman with it. Now Swanek with it. And they're trying to get it to Lyman, cutting towards the basket. It gets deflected and taken away by Fitzgerald, and here comes Western. Trying to get it to a single-digit deficit here. Gopher comes in, working against Pickens. She hands it to Momberg, and a great play by Momberg as Gopher kind of took Pickens out of the play, and Momberg just lays it in from the left side.
Real good chemistry between those two girls. You know, really fun to watch. That was really pretty.
Yeah, so a 30-second timeout. We'll just keep it right here. But 32-24 on the Mike Miller State Farm Insurance scoreboard. For all your insurance needs, contact Mike Miller State Farm Insurance. John Kemper and Coach Gary Turcotte. First time we've ever worked together, Coach.
It's great, John. I've listened to you for years.
I'm sorry. Well,
over at Helena High, and it's fun to work with you, fun to be here. And, of course, we all wish Daniel well.
Yes, absolutely.
He, you know, he's a little under the weather, but he's going to be fine. And he'll be back in the saddle on Thursday, ready to go. And I know he's listening to us, so we want to wish him well. Drink lots of water and drink your orange juice.
There you go.
Yeah, and get lots of sleep.
Yeah, Daniel, at the radio station, Daniel's just known as Mr. Carroll College. I mean, he's got it here. And, of course, he's you know, doing the SID job here, too. And just doing a fantastic job. So good to fill in for him, but be glad to hand it back. High school is more my speed, I think.
You know, being an SID, people say, well, what does an SID do? An SID does everything.
Everything, yeah.
You got to be a good writer. You got to be a communicator. You got to have techie skills because you got to update the website. You got to understand about 4 or 5 different sports. You got to put together all kinds of programs. It's a full-time job, and Daniel's real good at it. But his passion, as you know, is broadcasting. And that's, I think he sees that as the future, and I do think he's going to go someplace.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, he sent me tons of stuff for prepping for today's games.
Yeah.
So very thankful for that. All right, we come out of the timeout. 4 minutes to go, 32-24 here in the second quarter. Carroll with the ball, and we're going to have a foul on, it looks like possibly Sheridan here on a reach, and it is. That's another one you really can't afford to lose. Of course, you only have 8 people on the bench today.
Yeah, can't.
But Sheridan's your point guard.
And she's so aggressive, you don't want to have her get in foul trouble.
So Carroll will take it out on the baseline, and they'll get it in. That one to Madsen. And now that shot is up and good for 2 more.
Danny Wagner on a pass from Emma Madsen, an assist. You can't let Danny Wagner get catch and shoots. And nobody wants to give them to her, but because when she gets them, she doesn't miss very many of them.
Yeah, makes it an 11-point game, 35-24 here in the second quarter. King with it. Looking, she'll get it over to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald gets picked up by Lyman. Now Gopher in the corner, and she'll cross-court that to Momberg, who's going to drive in. Kind of loses the ball, and we're going to have a shot clock violation. Little contact as she drove through, but I don't know if it required a foul. But it turns it over to Carroll.
Very good defense by Carroll that time. And you can see Western wants to get it to one side, and Carroll fronts the post, so you have big rotation over to stop the lob. Then you want to skip it to the weak side, and it's a very effective. And Lindsay has done that forever against Carroll, and it's been very effective for him over the years.
Swanek with the ball, working on that left elbow. Now cross court to Lyman. Boy, just threaded the needle on that one. Lyman gets it, and she's going to lose it out of bounds there. No foul. She went to the ground. And it will be Western ball at 2:57. Who are we going to be joined at halftime? Who are you talking to, Coach?
At halftime, for the women's game, it'll be Sue Moore, who was kind of the organizer of the women's part of the reunion. And she's got a real interesting story to tell. Listeners are going to really, she's got some real special insights that I think people are going to enjoy.
So Gopher gets it down low, then she gets the pass off, and that was Fitzgerald who puts it in to finish. Fitzgerald with 8, 35-26, 2:29 second quarter. Saints with the lead, they have the ball. Swanek with it, works it over to Lyman. Lyman comes to her left, now passes it back right to Swanek, and they work it back and forth with each other. And boy, Swanek a long three, just a little short. Rebound will go to Fitzgerald of Western, and here come the Bulldogs. 2 minutes to go, second quarter, 35-26. Pass down low, and Mesa has this one knocked away, and it's going to be taken by Carroll. Lyman brings it up, gets it to Wagner, and now cross court, Fitzgerald tips it, but it is saved by Swanek just past half court. Swanek now passes this one, gets it to Matson. Matson for a long two at that
And they're just
corner.
sagged. She's got the ball right at the elbow, and they're sagged back, I mean, in the middle of the key. You just can't give her that one. She's going to make most of those.
So 37-26, Carroll at 1:28 here in the second quarter. Sheridan with it, working against Lyman, kicks it off to Fitzgerald. Now up top to Gopher. Gopher will hand it back to Fitzgerald, gives a little screen. A lot of contact on that screen between her and Lyman, no foul called. Momberg with it, drives into the paint. Shot clock at 2, a 3, and that is good by Gopher.
Momberg and Gopher have got chemistry. They look for each other, and they're fun to watch, those two.
37-29, 8-point game at 50 seconds to go before the half. Lyman with it. Shot clock at 10, and this one is going to be knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Carroll basketball. Hilborn and Denny will check back in. Matson checks out. Mack checks in, and so does Denny for Western. So the ball will be taken out on the baseline. It's going to be Swanek to inbound and see where she can go here. Looks at Hilborn, and she'll go up top. Hilborn at the top of the key, dishes it down to Pickens, who's going to take that too, and it is good. The shot that she should have taken a little bit ago, you mentioned, Coach, she buries it.
That's the one.
10-point game at 30 seconds to go before the half, 39-28. Sheridan directing traffic, standing near midcourt. Hilborn about 5-8 feet from her. Sheridan now, she comes in, gets it to Gopher. Now back to Sheridan, clock at 15, shot clock at 7. And this shot is going to be no good, but a foul on Carroll. That's going to go against Denny. And it's going to send Denny to the line. Clock at 12.6.
Now, Natalie Denning played really well against Carroll last time. She hasn't been able to get involved as much this first half, but she really played well. She can shoot.
Hits her first free throw, makes it a 9-point game.
Really, I don't see anybody for Western that can't shoot, to be honest. I don't see them out there if they are.
And the second one is good. Well, I mean, could the argument be made that if you're going smaller, you better have shooters, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Pickens with it. Now out, and the clock at 4, driving in, taking a little jumper is Denny, and that one rattles in and out. And that's going to do it for the first half. Carroll leads 39-31 as we go to halftime here at the PE Center. And boy, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're just going to give you some quick stats, and then we're going to talk to Sue Moore. You're listening to Carroll College basketball on Rewind 94.9 FM and online at kcap.com.
Is this ready to go?
Yep, it's number 2, so it's, you want to talk into it? Oh, wait, no, we can't.
All right.
Okay, yeah, I hear it. Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah. We'll have our headsets on.
And how long should I talk for? Just a few minutes? great chemistry. Watch these two. Blomberg and Gopher. They hit some tough shots. They're not bad.
All right, John Kemper and Coach Turcotte here back at the PE Center. And right now at the half, it's 39-31. Going to give you a couple quick stats, and then we're going to get over to Coach Turcotte to talk to Sue Moore. Carroll shooting 56% from the field, 37.5% from the three-point line, and they're perfect from behind the at the free throw line. For Western, 47.8% from the field, 38.5% from three, and just 66% at the free throw line. Leading scorers today so far, Jamie Pickens with 12. She also has 7 rebounds, 10 for Wagner, 6 for Denny, and 5 for Swanek. And for this Western team, 8 for Fitzgerald, 7 for Gopher, and 7 apiece for Sheridan and Momberg. So that's where we sit right now. But, Coach, you have a very special guest with us, so I'm going to let you take this portion of it.
Well, thank you, John. Yes, we do have a special guest. With us is Sue Moore. Welcome back to Alumni Weekend. Sue, what's it like to be back here?
Oh, it's awesome. Lots of memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just refresh our listeners to what year you played here and who was your coach and a couple of your teammates.
I played from 1978 to 1982 under Tom Kelly, and 79-80 conference champions, and teammates throughout those 4 years were Deb Dirksen, Wendy Sears, Carroll, Annie Wirtz, Lynn Patterson, Shelly Mitchell.
Yeah, I know it's a great bunch. One of those groups got inducted into the Carroll Hall of Fame. What was that, the year of the conference championship?
79-80 conference champions when I was a sophomore. Shelly Mitchell was a senior.
And who did you beat for the championship?
Western.
Western.
Yeah.
Carroll Western.
Yep.
Yeah.
And actually, back then they didn't have a tournament. They you just won the conference outright, and that gave you the bye to the regional tournament, which is what's a lot different than what they do now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you do now. Yeah. Well, I know that you've got some ideas in mind about when the Carroll PE Center was first built, and the first game, and what anniversary that is, and what you're thinking about as we get close to the 50th year.
So 1974 was the very first game played on this basketball court, and Sandra Williamson was the coach for the first 3 years, and that's 48 years ago. So 2 years from now, we just think it'd be really cool that 50 years of basketball at Carroll College, and we're trying to pull in all women's sports in those past 50 years, and kind of the progression of that. Volleyball and basketball started about the same time, but talking with the people who showed up here today, which was a small group that came on short notice, it was all pretty excited to look down the road for 2 years and how cool it was to be out on the court and bring back memories and just having to share all that stuff. Well,
the crowd gave you a huge ovation. I mean, they really appreciated, you guys being back here. It just means a lot to have you come back, and you've been such a consistent supporter for years and years of the women's basketball in all Carroll. And, you just should know how important that is and how much we appreciate it. And one last thing that you and I have in common, I don't know if you know what that is or not, in addition to both of us being alums of Carroll, but we both played for the same coach.
Oh, Coach Kelly.
Tom Kelly was my football coach. He recruited me out of Billings, and I played 4 years for him. and then he retired as a football coach. And then when they started the girls basketball program, I didn't realize he wasn't the first coach. There was another gal that started
Yeah,
it.
Sandra Williamson, and I think it was by default being a PE teacher, and
Yeah.
she had a record of like 11-31.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very courageous of Coach Kelly to go from football to playing girls basketball, but did a great job.
Well, he was great. Great
yeah,
man.
Yeah, he was a great man, and he really knew how to pick people, which is what Carroll College is all about. And you, Gary, are very instrumental in bringing me back, and Wendy Sears, and getting us involved with this program. And this group of girls is just such a fantastic group of women, athletes, and they're just a great representation of Carroll College, and it's so much fun to watch good basketball.
Isn't this a fun team to watch?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just, Rochelle has done an unbelievable job here.
Yeah.
And she picks great people too. And, Western's talented. It's, we're not going to blow Western off the floor. I can promise you. They're way too good.
Well, I know. It's second half. Here we go. I don't know about Rochelle, but I'm nervous. So I need to tell you both how much I appreciate listening to you when I'm at home and we've got these games being broadcast. It's made it a lot bigger family, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, Sue, thank you so much for being here and being our halftime guest. And all I can say is go Saints.
Go Saints. Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Sue Moore. And we got a couple others at halftime of the men's game that Coach Turcotte will talk to as well. But sorry, I was late on that. So pretty good. But we're going to step aside, take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about some more of the stats, talk about the first half, and get ready for the second half. That sound like a plan?
Good plan, John.
Okay. You're listening to Carroll College basketball on Rewind 94.9 and online at kcap.com. All right, well, Coach Turcotte and John Kemper coming to you from the PE Center. And just another reminder, the Capital girls game tonight against Hellgate, the time has changed due to lack of officials in Missoula, so the new pregame time will start at 6:45 on the FM KCAP and on kcap.com. But if you listen during the week, you always know 6:45 is normally the time. And that's if the sub-varsity games don't go to overtime, which is always the roll of the dice there, Coach.
Yeah.
But let's dive into some of this. You have some knowledge to dispense to us here.
Well, just looking at the stats and kind of thinking about the game, a couple of things I think Western has done well is shoot the three. They've made 5 threes. That's a lot of threes and a half. It really is, and they're 5 for 13, and that kind of kept them in it for a while there. And then defensive rebounding, I think they've really rebounded well. They played mostly zone that half, especially all the second quarter. And Carroll usually rebounds pretty well against that zone, offensive rebounds. Carroll only with 4 offensive rebounds, and they kind of came early. Brinley Fitzgerald really doing a nice job on the defensive boards, but the whole team, and we did talk about their undersized, but Carroll not getting much on second shots. I think both coaches are going to be unhappy with the amount of turnovers they had. That's 8 turnovers each team per half, and that's kind of like what you'd like to have for a game, not for a half. So a little bit was due, some of that is due to defense, but some of it is, not as good decision making as you'd like. So both teams, Western turned it over the first quarter, Carroll turned it over the second quarter, and that's why Carroll dominated the first quarter, and Western outscored Carroll the second quarter 21-18. A lot of that was due to the turnovers. It really was.
Yeah, and when I saw the turnover number, it kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Just because of all the miscues and what Western was having in that first quarter, they really seemed to clean it up in the second quarter.
They did, yeah. And then Western, they're not going to get blown out of here. They're too good. And I really enjoyed watching the chemistry between Gopher and Momberg. Those two girls just look for each other and feed off each other. Brinley Fitzgerald is a girl who can really, really fill it, and she only got 4 shots. She made 3 of them. 2 of those that she made were threes. She can really light it up, and she could bring you back individually, just herself. She's capable of scoring a lot of points, and so is Joelle Momberg. And interestingly, Shani Mack, I have seen Shani really play well, especially with the dribble drive. When Carroll plays man-to-man, I've seen Shani loves that dribble drive, and so far Carroll's been able to keep her under control, as she has not scored a field goal. So we always talk about, or I always do, and maybe you listen to the broadcast, the first 3 minutes of the second half is the most important time in a ball game other than crunch time. And I'm trying to say, I can't see who's got the arrow. It looks like Western has the arrow, so they will get the ball inbounds, John. And the first 3 minutes of the second half, that's when one team is going to make a run. It almost always happens. Now, Carroll with an 8-point lead, if they make a run, all of a sudden it's double figures. If Western makes a run, then this is going to be a real close ball game. It's going to go right to the end. So I always look for that.
What causes that 3-minute run? I mean, is
Yeah.
it adjustments in the locker room? Is it one team feels more confident than the other in those first few minutes, or in that going into the second half? What is that?
I think it's 2 things. I think it's adjustments, and I also, believe it or not, I think it's conditioning. I think you come out and you've been sitting, and you're just a little bit flat, and usually the band is gone for a break, and people are kind of coming back with their popcorn, and they're not quite into it, and your focus, your conditioning, and of course, what adjustments did coaches make? And most of the time, the coach will call a play, a set that they want to run the very first possession, and it's always interesting for me to see, does it work? Which one of these coaches, the play that they call to start the half is going to work, and Western gets the ball first. So we'll see what Lindsey Woolley has designed here for his first play.
All right, so both teams back out on the court. Great information as always here. And on the Mike Miller State Farm Insurance scoreboard, 39-31 as we start this third quarter. Glad to have you along. This is the first game of a doubleheader, women right now, and then the guys will go around 4 o'clock, and we'll bring you that one as well. All right, so this Western team now moving from right to left. Gopher with it. Now into the paint goes to King, and King puts it up, and she's going to draw a foul. That one will go against Pickens. So King at the line for the first time today. She has those 2 fouls. She sat out a lot of that first half, but trying to make an impact now.
And Jamie sometimes gets herself in foul trouble, but she hasn't in this ball game. That's just her first foul.
Yeah, just one for her. Pretty clean fouling first half for Carroll College. Second one for King is up, and she nails both of them. And makes this a 6-point game, 39-33. Let's see about these first 3 minutes. Carroll moving from left to right. Pickens with it, kicks it over to Swanek. In the corner now, that one back up top, and Hilborn with it. Shot clock at 17. Swanek and now to Pickens. I'm sorry, to Hilborn. Now to Pickens. And Pickens will give it to Denny, then back to Pickens, and Pickens puts it in for 2.
That's a great pass by Christine Denny. Really is.
So 41-33, back to an 8-point lead. Fitzgerald with it, now to Gopher at the top. Sheridan running in and out of the paint. Now she'll come up, makes the catch. As her and Gopher throw it back and forth, and now Fitzgerald gets into it. Now here comes Sheridan. Little jumper over Pickens, and she'll get it to roll in.
Nice touch. That barely crawled over the front of the rim.
So they're hanging around. 6-point lead here, 41-35, 8:46, third quarter. Hilborn with it. Now over in the corner to Swanek. Up top, that one to Wagner. Now to Pickens. Oh, and cutting was Denny on the baseline, but couldn't catch up to that pass.
That's just a bad pass by Jamie. Jamie doesn't make. Jamie's really, as you know, a really good passer.
Yeah, very good passer. She missed on that one for by about a foot, so it turns over to Western at 8:30, and a 6-point lead here for Carroll. Gopher with it, directing some traffic with her left hand. Now she starts to dribble, stops, and she'll throw this one, passes it to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald wasn't ready for it. It goes off her face and out of bounds. That would have made me go to the bench right there. I don't know what anyone else
She
is
got
saying.
hit right in the nose.
Right in the nose. That's the worst.
It is the worst.
All right, 41-35 on the turnover. 8:15, third quarter. Hilborn with it. Looks, gets it to Pickens. Pickens, jumper at the free throw line, and that one rolls over and in. So Pickens with 4 to start this third quarter and gets it back to an 8-point game, 43-35. Now Sheridan drives in, dishes it down to King, and that's good for 2, and 4 for King. So these two are just trading shots right now. Nobody's really pulling away.
Sydney Sheridan with a real nice take there and a good find.
Pickens again with it. Now she drives in, dishes it down to Denny, and Denny will be fouled. You think Pickens could have taken that shot at the free throw line?
She could have taken it. She just was kind of out of rhythm, so she didn't. But then it was a nice find with her and Christine. You'll see Christine and Jamie with real good chemistry too. Talking about chemistry. And what I mean by that is, just you kind of know where she's going to be. You trust her. You trust she'll catch it. And you just have a good feel when you play with each other.
The benefits of just playing a lot of time in practice and even just hanging out.
Yeah.
As Denny hits both of those free throws and gets this back to an 8-point game. See if Carroll can get a turnover or a missed shot and a rebound, and see if they can get this back to a 10-point game. It's 45-37. It's 7:35, third quarter. Sheridan into the paint, comes to the right side. She gets cut off, kicks this out to Fitzgerald for 3. Ooh. That's nothing but net.
Boy, she's a good shooter.
That's her third.
And she doesn't need very much room. That's the thing about it.
Room and time.
Yeah, very little. She just,
just a catch and shoot on that one, and makes it a 5-point game. And now Swanek with it. Back to Hilborn, into Pickens at the free throw line, and back out to Swanek as they just working, passing it around here. Hilborn spins, dishes it to Pickens in the paint, nothing there, back out for 3, and that is good by Wagner.
Well, there's some nice basketball being played by both teams.
This is great.
Isn't that fun?
Both teams have settled in.
Really good passing.
48-40, Carroll on this back and forth. Fitzgerald with it, comes in, jumper at the free throw line. That one no good. Rebounded by Hilborn. And a chance here for Carroll to maybe get up by 10. Pickens kicks it out. That one goes to Wagner. And now to Hilborn. She's going to take a 3. That one a little flat and no good. Rebound, though, will go to Carroll. Denny with it. Goes up top to Swanek. Swanek rotates to the top. Now right. Gets cut off. Keeps working. Little jumper inside the paint off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Fitzgerald. Good look, just a little short on the shot. 48-40, Carroll at 6 minutes to go in the third. Hand off to Sheridan. Sheridan rotates up to the top of the key. Now comes to her left, looks, bounces it to King, who was delayed, but then cut towards the basket and was wide open for 2.
And that's a high on-ball screen and roll, and Carroll late with their rotation into their weak side help.
And it almost seemed to catch King off guard, and now this pass by Pickens is broken up and taken by Fitzgerald. And Sheridan's going to pop a three. That one in, and it will fall. It almost popped out. That's her second, and we have a 3-point game at 5:30 in the third.
Western's really playing some good basketball.
Pickens with it. High post right side. Now out to Swanek. And now to Wagner. Wagner out to Hilborn. 48-45. 5:17 third quarter. Carroll with the lead. And this pass on the baseline to Denny, and she'll put it in for two. Carroll gets it back to a 5-point game, but this Western team not going away, and they've been on fire shooting the ball. Kicks it out. Sheridan drives. Now she kicks it out to Gopher in the left corner. Gopher, she drives into the paint, working against Hilborn, and we're going to have an offensive charge. And that is Gopher's fourth.
Yeah.
So that's rough. And I think, Coach, you can speak to this as we have a timeout. It's 50-45 at 4:51 in the third, but a lot of casual fans don't understand what charges are. They think, got to be set, you can't be moving and all that, but there's more nuance to it than that.
Well, it is the hardest call in basketball for the officials to make, and you don't always have to have your feet planted, but you do have to take it square, and you can't go down until there's contact. And there's been a lot of emphasis this year on calling flops if you go down before there's contact. Now that clearly there was a lot of contact there, and Camden Hilborn took it, and as you'll remember when you worked her games in high school, she's a brilliant defensive player, and she draws at least one of those every game.
Yep. And she sells it. Not to say she flops, but she sells it.
When she gets the contact, she'll go down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's go ahead. Oh, I was just going to ask you a question about maybe the greatest flop you've ever seen.
The flopper?
Yeah.
Actually,
you've probably seen a lot, but.
Actually, I coached one, and he'll make me mad when I say this, but it was kind of before the rules used to be much more liberal. I mean, everybody was flopping in those days. And I had a kid named Dallas Leslie from Billings who could really sell a good, he was a really good player too. I mean, he was a Billings Central kid. He really shoot and tough kid. And finally, I just had to tell him, hey, quit going, quit it. I'm tired of watching it. But he was really good.
Did it go down and even slap the floor?
Oh yeah,
really
the whole deal.
Sell the whole deal, right?
Yeah.
All right, we get back underway here at 4:45, third quarter. It's 50-45. Carroll with the lead, and down to Denny. She'll kick this back out to Swanek. Back to Denny again. Working against Gopher with those 4 fouls. She tries to pass it down low, and that's going to be broken up and taken by King.
Nice defense by Mesa King there.
So Sheridan now up top. Chance to make this a one-possession game. It's 50-45, Carroll, in this third quarter. King with it. Fakes a pass. Now she drives in, and she's going to draw a foul as that ball goes off the bottom of the bottom of the backboard. But it will send King to the line to shoot two. Nice little fake by her. She looked like she was going to pass it out to Sheridan, and then she just cut to the basket.
Little hesitation move, and a lot of times when you dial it back a little bit, your defender will relax a little bit, and then you can hit that other gear, and that's what she did there. And she kind of got Maddie relaxing a little bit and got by her.
Yeah, got that quick turn, and then she actually got Maddie to foul as well. So she missed the first one. Second one will rattle around and find its way home. Makes it a 4-point game. So we are at 4:10, third quarter, and it is 50-46. Denny with it, working up top against Gopher. Kicks this one over to Swanek. Now Garrett's with it. And she'll kick it back to Denny. Shot clock at 15. In the corner, Swanek. She's going to pop a three and drains it.
Really a nice find by Christine Denny to get her teammate a catch and shoot.
Just kept working it around, and then they finally went to that corner, and she was ready for it. Makes it 53-46 at 3:43, third quarter. Sheridan needing some help, and it's going to be thrown away. King threw it right. Sheridan cut left, and that'll be an over and back.
That was caused by Camden Hilborn. Played really good denial defense that time on Sydney Sheridan and all the Camden's doings.
So that turnover will give Carroll the ball right in front of their bench. Swanek takes the inbound pass at 3:35 in the third. Kicks it to Hilborn on that left elbow. Hilborn with her dribble comes into the paint. Cut off by Gopher, goes back up top. That one to Swanek. Swanek gets a little screen from Garrett's, now back to Garrett's. Garrett's is going to come into the paint, works in front of Gopher. Good looking the shot, no good, but gets a rebound. She's fouled, the shot counts, and she's going for an and one.
That's nicely done. Yeah, you'd love to see a girl follow her shot like that. Good patience by Carroll that time. Got the matchup they wanted, and it was on Mesa King, John. So that's her third.
That third one on King.
Yeah.
55-46, chance to make it a 10-point game. It got down to 4, but Carroll's been able to answer here in the last minute and a half as Garrett's shot is good. And the whole idea of following shots, like I honestly have called that more this year in high school than I think I have in years past, of guys following their shots or girls following their shots. It's nice to see. All right, clock at 3 minutes. It's a 10-point game, 56-46, Carroll. And now Gopher with it, drives baseline. Garrett's cuts her off right on the baseline. She'll go to Momberg. Momberg behind the back, now back to Gopher. And 3 on the shot clock, down to 2. And a long 2 is no good. It'll be rebounded by Wagner. She gets it to Hilborn, and Hilborn will bring it up court. Hilborn comes to her right. Clock at 2:35, third quarter, 10-point lead for Carroll. Hilborn now out to Denny. Denny spins into the paint. A little jumper over King is no good, but Denny chases down her rebound. Hilborn takes it. Over to Wagner. Wagner spots up. She takes a 3, and that one just misses. Fight for the rebound, though. Swanek will come away with it. Gets it to Garrett's, and Garrett's now in the corner. Sorry, that's going to be Swanek in the corner. Hilborn with it. Hilborn left side working, and she'll lose this one out of bounds, and it'll be turned over to Western at 1:59. So a lot of activity there, but not productive.
You know, that time Camden, she went baseline with the dribble, but she didn't know. You want to go baseline when you have a lane, you have a purpose. Don't go baseline and when you're just you're not sure what you're going to do with it.
All right, 1:50, third quarter. Carroll leads 56-46. And now this pass inside is tipped away and taken.
Christine Denny with a real good help side defense.
And here we go, a 3. That one no good. Back-to-back missed 3s by Wagner, but she chases it down in the corner. They get it to Hilborn. Back up top, 1:28 to go. Garrett's with it. A long 2, and that is nothing but net. And a timeout is going to be called by Western as Carroll finds themselves up by 12, 56-46 at 1:20 here in the third quarter. We're going to take they're going to keep it short.
30.
So we'll just keep it right here. But, man, they whittled it down to this 4-point lead, but Carroll, a great job of getting back to this now a 12-point lead, but picking up 8 points.
Yeah, Carroll's defense got a little sharper, and they quit turning it over on offense. And the only time really that they're getting stopped during that run was Camden drove baseline and turned it over because they were getting second and third shots. And you wonder a little bit if there's some fatigue factor. Western not very deep, and girls play a lot of minutes, but it's still fairly early, and they had a second half rest. But Carroll did have, they had maybe 4 or 5 offensive rebounds since the half, and that's more than they got the whole first half.
Yeah, and they've done this last little spurt of points with Jamie Pickens actually on the bench getting some rest.
Yeah,
so that's huge. As far as foul trouble, you have King with those 3, Gopher with 4. And when you were a coach and you saw one of their bigger players or one of their key players up to that, was it like you attacked them?
Good question. You'd like to, but you can also get stagnant doing it. You got to continue to play, but you got to let everybody know, hey, she does have 3 or she does have 4. Let's be conscious of going to her.
So if it works into your game plan and your strategy, then do it.
Yeah, but I've gotten too stagnant at times, and everybody's standing around trying to pound it into one player. It doesn't work.
Trying to get that last foul, and they never get it. All right, clock at 1:10, 58-46. Carroll with the lead. Western with the ball. Sheridan with it. And now a 3 coming from Denning. That one just off to the left, and a little fight for the rebound. It's going to go out of bounds. Last touch by Fitzgerald, and it'll turn it over to the Saints.
And Denning hit some of those the last time Carroll played in Dillon. And Western back in playing man-to-man now.
cutting was Denny,
And that's a turnover. And that's just silly turnover. And that's a bad pass by Maddie. And that's what Carroll wants to get to the next level. They got to clean that up.
So clock at 39 seconds. And now the ball gets loose, but Fitzgerald is there to save it. 58-46. Cross-court pass, that one's going to go out of bounds.
And that's that cross-court pass I told you that they like against the zone. And that time, Brindley Fitzgerald just threw it away. Just a bad pass.
So it turns it over to Carroll at 28.8 to go here in this third quarter. Hilborn brings it up. Carroll leads by 12. Hilborn starts in. Now she'll back out. Keeps her dribble going. Now she stops, and Garretts gets it in the post. Right side, little fadeaway. That one just off the front of the rim, and Sheridan comes away with the rebound. Sheridan gets this to Denny. Denny's going to drive on the left side. Little too hard off the glass, and Denny for Carroll will come away with it. She brings it up court at the buzzer off to the right. All right, we're through 3 here at the PE Center, and Carroll, despite a little scare midway through the third, has increased their lead 58-46. We'll step aside and continue with the fourth quarter. This is Carroll College basketball on Rewind 94.9 and online at kcap.com.
Nice crowd.
Yeah, really good. And hats off to the older lady with the Dane Warp jersey. Or not jersey, but shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Third?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
It is.
What's the break between the women's game and the guys' game? Is it like 20 minutes? Yeah. Okay. So we'll go, 5 minutes off the air? Is that typically what we do?
Yeah, you can do a couple of minutes.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
do our stats, wrap up our game. Show might come through. I'll let you do that.
Okay.
You want to do it, or I can do it?
I'll let you start it.
We'll both three do it.
I think she was supposed to. Okay, Coach Turcotte and John Kemper back to bring in the fourth quarter here with women's basketball, Carroll College and Montana Western. Carroll with a 12-point lead, 58-46. They've won the previous 2 games this season in conference play against Western, trying to go for the sweep. After tonight, they will play Tech, and then they have Rocky Mountain College and Providence to finish the season. Before, well, at least before tournament time.
Western back in their zone defense.
So Carroll with the ball, Lyman with it, comes to her left, gets this to Wagner, and now to Lyman in that left corner, and she's going to get doubled up, but gets it away. That one to Madsen, and now Madsen's pass is going to be deflected by King and taken by Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald will bring it up, comes to her left, and this one will get over to Momberg. Momberg driving in, left side, she'll go up, shot is good, and she's fouled.
Well, it's a nice crossover move that she put on, and then just kind of really used her body to screen and get a foul.
She's a lot quicker than she looks.
You're absolutely right. She is.
Because she cut and went, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot faster than I think people realized.
Last year at this time, she was playing for the University of Montana.
And she hits the end one to cut it to a 9-point game. 58-49, 9:15 to go here in the fourth quarter. Carroll led the whole way here. Led by 12 going into the fourth quarter. Lyman with it, right elbow. Gets this to Madsen. Madsen down to Garretts, who is wide open, and then Momberg comes over. And Garretts is going to be called for an offensive foul.
Oh. I just don't think that the girl was there. I honestly don't. But I'll tell you, that was a long way. That's the far end away from us. And that's a very good official that made that call.
Well, Garrett, when she first got that ball, Garretts was wide open, and then Momberg came over to it. That little hesitation by Garretts probably got her that foul and the missed opportunity on the shot. And now we're going to have a travel called on Mack of Western as she tried to cut to go towards the basket. 8:41, fourth quarter, 58-49. 9-point game for Carroll as Lyman brings it up across the timeline. Kicks it to Matson on the left side, and now in the corner, that one to Wagner. Gets that to Ekstrom, and now up to Matson. Shot clock at 16. Matson now drives in. She'll kick it out to Lyman. Lyman, she's going to spot up, takes a three. That one just too much power behind it. Little flat, and it will be rebounded by Western, and we're going to have a foul, I believe, on the rebound. And that goes against Matson. So 8:17 fourth quarter, 58-49. Western with the ball, Carroll with the lead. Mack brings it up. Gets it to Momberg on that right side on the elbow. Now she'll dribble up to the top. Hands this one off to Mack again. Now Fitzgerald with it. Left elbow. Working against Matson. Drives in. She's going to draw a foul as she runs in to Matson.
You just got to square her up. She made a little move to the middle, and I don't know how long Coach Rochelle Sayers she's got her second unit in the ball game except for Danny Wagner. I don't know how long she can do it. She'd like to give those starters as much rest as she can, but yeah, it's going to be pretty soon. I would think that she's going to bring them in.
Well, Fitzgerald misses that first one. We're at 7:54 here in this fourth quarter. Ideally, if she could play it the way she wants, bring him in about, what, 5-minute mark?
Maybe sooner. I'd say
okay.
6.
6? Okay.
Yeah, I'd say now.
Okay.
If it was me. But
well, it's cut to an 8-point game now, 58-50 at 7:45. Garrett's with it. Gets this one to Wagner. Now in the corner to Matson. Matson down to Garrett's on the baseline. And now Garrett's has this one intercepted by, of all people, Sheridan, who just came in and took that one away. And here comes Fitzgerald. She's going to try to go to the basket. Cuts off by Matson. Gets it to Sheridan. Sheridan's little floater in the lane, no good. And it will be rebounded by Carroll at 7:20 here in this fourth quarter. Matson with it. Kicks it to Lyman on the left side. Up top to Matson, down to Wagner. And Wagner, nothing there. She'll kick it back up top. Matson now comes in. She's going to take a little jumper. That one was no good. And now Garrett's gets it. She'll go up, and she's going to be fouled and shoot two. Clock at 7 minutes in this fourth quarter, and now we'll have some substitutions as Hilborn, Denny, and Swanek check back in. Pickens will check in for Garrett's here when she's done with her free throws. All right, Garrett's first one up and just misses. Hits off to the right. Carroll led by 12 going into this fourth quarter. They're down to 8. Garrett's trying to get that back to 9. And that is good. So 59-50 as Pickens will sub in for her. And now Carroll has the unit they want on the floor.
Yeah. Now this is the starting team, the starting unit, and they had a nice little rest, so they should be ready to go here the rest of the way.
6:55 and counting, fourth quarter. Carroll up by 9. Western with it, and a three from Fitzgerald on that catch and shoot. She drains it again. Cuts it to a 6-point game. Hilborn brings it up, comes to her left, gets it to Denny on the right elbow, and now to Swanek. Swanek rotates up to the top. Working against Sheridan, and now down to Pickens, back out to Denny. And now Swanek. Swanek comes in near the free throw line, out to Hilborn in the corner. That one to Swanek, and I'm sorry, that was not Swanek that held it. Now Swanek into the lane, and
that's
great
a tough shot.
Wow, one-hander.
Really a tough shot.
In the paint, puts it in, and makes it 61-53.
That's the first bucket they've scored this quarter.
That is, yes.
Yes.
Comes at the 6:15 mark. And now a three on another catch and shoot by Fitzgerald. That one no good, though. And Pickens will get the rebound and gets it to Swanek. Swanek up top to Hilborn, down to Pickens, who is wide open. And we're going to get a foul on Gopher. The shot was good, and that should, well, that's 5 on Gopher.
And that's the same call that went the other way. you know, she catches it, she's wide open. Maddie Garrett did, and the girl kind of slides over there and takes the charge. Like I said, John, it's the toughest call in basketball.
Yeah.
The referees earn their money on that call.
Oh, absolutely.
They do.
All right, Pickens at the line, trying to make an 11-point game. She does as she completes the and one, and it is 64-53 at 5:50 in the fourth. The thing that Carroll's been able to do, we're going to have a timeout here by Western, but what Carroll's been able to do, even when Western gets it down and whittles it away, gets it within 4, they're able to pace it back up and get it to the round, 8 to 10, 12 points.
Yeah. Right now, Carroll's playing a lot of zone, and Western's answer is Fitzgerald in the corner, and they can't let her get those catch and shoots down there. She made one from the right corner and just rattled one right there from the left corner.
Just missed that one.
They got to get out on that.
Well, when I played basketball, never, back in 7th grade. But no, the hardest thing for me when I play pickup basketball or anything is the catch and shoot. You're literally catching. You have to catch the ball, so that all your attention has to go from catching the ball to the basket and shooting it at the same time. That takes a real special person.
Well, for the pure three-point shooters, they prefer the catch and shoot. It's a little easier for them than to shoot off the dribble. And when you look at the WNBA or the NBA, they're good enough to do that. But Brindley Fitzgerald on a catch and shoot from the corner is scary. And Carroll's going to have to get out there on her. That's something I'm sure Coach Rochelle Sayers is talking to her girls about right now. And Lindsay, he's saying, let's get her more of those. Lindsay Woolley, the Western coach.
Yeah, put it in her hands and see what can happen.
Yep.
And it's not bad to have that next person that can take those threes too is Sheridan out here.
Exactly.
So
Sheridan can shoot. Momberg can shoot.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, getting back underway. 5:47 left in this one. 64-53. Carroll with the lead. Western with the ball. And this pass, another mistake there on that pass as it's thrown away by King.
I think they wanted a backdoor play there, and Danny Wagner was just in perfect spot and took that away from her, and they threw it away.
So the turnover goes back to Carroll. Hilborn brings it up, goes to her right, and now to Pickens in that post, and now to Swanek. Swanek will kick this out. That one goes to Wagner, and we're going to have a travel called on Wagner. Some good defense there just to kind of disrupt her play. And so 5:26 left, 64-53, Carroll with the lead. Carroll men and Western men up next. Sheridan with it, and a little pass down to Gopher on a reverse layup, no good. Pickens with the rebound. She'll get it to Hilborn, and Hilborn will bring it up court. Gets it to Wagner on the right elbow. Wagner being guarded by Gopher, and she'll kick that to Swanek now. Swanek on that left elbow. Swanek comes into the paint, little jumper at the free throw line, rims in and out, and Pickens is going to get called for a foul over the back on Gopher.
Nice box out by Gopher. Good box out.
Pickens' second one.
And that is the 5th foul on Carroll. So that's a factor now. Western will be shooting the bonus, which is 2 shots the rest of the game. So that's big.
Yeah, so it's going to send Gopher to the line to shoot these 2 free throws. And that one is no good. Yeah, Gopher today 7 points, 15 from Fitzgerald. We have 19 from Pickens. And the second one good. So Gopher's going to sub out. Momberg subs in for her at 4:49 in the fourth. 64-54, 10-point game as Hilborn brings it across midcourt. Steps on the gas a little bit, gets it to Denny. Denny left side, now up top to Pickens. And in the corner, a 3 coming. That gets deflected. And it is saved by Denny, who then goes up and she's fouled. Shot is no good. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. But
real athletic play by Christine Denny there.
Yeah, the ball's going for a 3, then it gets deflected. She has to change her angle to make that grab and almost puts it in. Now a chance for her to make it a 12-point game again with 2 free throws at the line. First one is good. Man, and the second one is up. That one is no good, and rebound. It's going to go out of bounds. Last touch by Western, so Carroll will keep it.
And that was Sienna Swanek with a big-time hustle play that caused that turnover right there. Sienna plays so hard. This was amazing.
The look on Coach Sayer's face when that went out of bounds at the ref to make sure he called it the right way. 65-54, Swanek with it. Gets tripped up a little bit, no call. Hilborn in that left corner, back up top to Swanek. 4:20 left, 65-54. Carroll with the lead. Swanek has it up top, working against King. Now out to Denny for three. That one rims in and out, but another offensive board. That one is by Wagner, and it'll reset the shot clock. Denny with it. Comes in, nothing there. She was nodding her head for Pickens to cut towards the basket. Doesn't work out, and they'll get it to Hilborn in the left corner for three. That one rims out, and it will go out of bounds. Last touch by Western.
The offensive boards have been a factor of this half, haven't they, John?
Yeah, they absolutely have.
Yeah,
Carroll just swarming down on the offensive side.
Yeah.
And a lot of second and third chance opportunities. Into Denny on the baseline. She'll back it out. Rotates up to the top, now gets it to Hilborn. Hilborn bounces it to Pickens. Pickens looks to come in the right side. Instead, she'll hand it off to Wagner. And now out to Denny. Denny driving into the paint, puts it up and in for two.
Geez,
Persistence pays off.
And just really good discipline up there by the Carroll Saints.
67-54 at 3:26 here in the fourth. Driving and drawing the foul will be Mack. Shot is no good. She'll go to the line to shoot two.
And John, every game I've ever seen Shaney work or play, she's gotten a ton off that dribble drive, and she just hasn't been able. That's the first time I've seen her really get to the rim this whole ball game. And the last 3 minutes, she's going to try to get to the rim now that she has some success with it.
Hits that first free throw.
Yeah. What a pretty name, Shaney Mack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost sounds like a Hollywood actress.
Does.
Yeah. And she hits the second one. So it's an 11-point game. 67-56 at 3:23. Hilborn across midcourt. Kicks it to Denny on the left side. Denny, little spin, comes to her left, and now hands it off to Hilborn. Hilborn into the paint, back outside to Pickens, and now over to Wagner. Swanek's going to take it, and she will get it down to Denny. Denny couldn't handle it, but she is able to save it before it goes out of bounds. Now they go to Pickens underneath. Pickens just bowls her way in for two.
Just great discipline once again by Carroll.
Worked
really,
against King.
They really trust each other, John. They really do. You can just see they don't care who gets a shot. They have no.
Yep, there's Mack again driving in.
Dribble drive, yeah.
She'll kick it out to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald will draw a foul, kind of an off-balance shot there.
That was all caused by Shaney Mack. The dribble drive offense is made for her. It's just, and I think one of the reasons that Carroll has played a lot of zone against them is because of Shaney Mack in that dribble drive. She's so lethal with it.
Fitzgerald's first one is good. 2:39 left in this one. 69-57. And then with Carroll on the other end of the court, there's times where you watch a basketball team and it almost looks like a ballet.
It does.
As they're passing and moving around the court.
It's been just beautiful this half. It really has.
All right, second one misses, so it's still 69-57 at 2:30 to go here in this fourth quarter. Denny with it. She's getting doubled. She'll kick that to Hilborn. Hilborn now will come up to the top, dishes it to Pickens. And now to Wagner. Wagner back to Pickens and cross court. That one to Denny. Up top to Pickens. Pickens with 2 seconds will take a shot and banks it in. Wow.
Tough shot, Camden.
She puts it in to make it 71-57, Carroll at 2 minutes. Fitzgerald with it. Drives in left side, and Denny knocks it away from her, and it's off of Fitzgerald, and it'll be Carroll College ball. As Fitzgerald was going by, Denny just reached in and slapped the ball away, and then it went off of Fitzgerald out of bounds. Pickens with it. She gets doubled, and we're going to have a timeout called by Carroll College. Clock stops at 1:48. 71-57 on the Mike Miller State Farm Insurance scoreboard. Carroll College basketball brought to you by Placer Subaru, dog tested, dog approved. Get your new Subaru today at Placer Subaru, just west on Euclid, and by Lewis and Clark Library. For more than 150 years, the Lewis and Clark Library has steadfastly served the residents of Lewis and Clark County with branches in Helena, Augusta, Lincoln, East Helena, and the Bookmobile. And Carroll College basketball. See, I've had to write these notes to say Carroll everywhere and try to get Helena out of my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a look at this crowd. This is Saturday afternoon. What a monster crowd.
Yeah,
we're about, we're probably around 85% capacity, maybe 90% capacity. Yeah.
No,
it's wonderful.
Good crowd. They've been involved in the game the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
So 1:48 left in this one. Carroll College up 71-57. They have the ball after that timeout. Swanik's going to rotate up to the top. Hilborn off to her left. Keeps her dribble, comes to her left, kicks it to Hilborn. Hilborn through some traffic, down to Pickens, and just like that,
what a gorgeous
two
pass.
more.
Wow.
No look to Pickens. Pickens puts it in, 73-57, 1:20 to go.
Ooh.
And
Christine went down, but I think she just took a bruise.
So King picks up the foul on that one.
Oh, we got a tee on Brinzy Woolley.
Technical foul on Woolley.
Yeah.
So the clock stops at 1:18, 73-57.
And that was an illegal screen called there on. Who was it on? Do you remember who it was on?
It was on King.
On Lisa,
fourth.
yeah, and Coach Woolley didn't like the call, and he got after the official pretty good. So, and that'll be Danny Wagner shooting him. I don't want to jinx her. She's awful good. She missed it. I did jinx her.
She misses that first one.
Yeah.
And the second one for Wagner. This one is up, and that one is good. But she even realized she wasn't shooting so hot on those two.
Yeah.
That one hit off the front of the rim and then skimmed in. But 74-57, and then Carroll will take the ball out also after that technical on Woolley. So here comes Carroll at 1:15. Wagner with it, comes to her left, stops her dribble. Sheridan right on her, but Swanik there to help her. Now up top to Pickens and then over to Hilborn. As Carroll, the shot clock at 15. Clock at 1 minute, down to Pickens at the free throw line. They're just working it around. Now in the corner to Swanik for three. That one no good, but Pickens will get the rebound. Resets the shot clock. Swanik up top to Hilborn. Clock at 45 seconds. Carroll's going to win this one. Final score was yet to be determined, but right now 74-57 as the ball goes out of bounds off of Western, and it stops at 40.7 seconds. So Carroll's going to go to 9-3 and 21-5 overall. Ball will be inbounded.
Well, this was a game Carroll couldn't let get away from them. If they want to be in the hunt for first or second place, they can't afford this one and then of course the one Saturday.
Yeah, now the ball gets loose, and we're going to have a shot clock violation on Carroll. So the clock stops at 30.8, and it will be Western ball. Yeah, I imagine, and we're actually, I was going to ask you this in the men's game, so we'll kind of hold on to it, but not overlooking opponents.
Yes.
And how easy it could be to overlook someone like
Rocky,
Western or even Tech as
Rocky
they get ready.
did overlook Western last week.
Yeah, exactly.
And got beat.
Short range two, no good. That one by King. And now Carroll will have the ball at 12 seconds.
Another rebound by Christine Denny, and she had a boatload.
Yeah, lots of rebounds. Pickens has a double-double in this one, and that's going to do it. Carroll College takes care of Western today, 74-57. They improve to 21-5 overall and 9-3 in the West, and they keep pace right now with Providence and with Rocky Mountain College. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to catch up with Coach Rochelle Sayers and get you some stats in this one as we get you set up for the guys' game that'll come up in just a little bit. You're listening to Carroll College Basketball on Rewind 94.9 and online at kcap.com.
Jaden. Give me Jaden. Jaden. Hey, Jaden. I want to yell at Jaden just a sec. You gotta,
Can I get one of those? Yeah. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah,